Podcasting is networking. Café and Networking Podcast promotes entrepreneurs, startups, authors, business experts throughout the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people and speaking from my studio in Vinhedo, São Paulo, Brazil. Today we talk with Juliana Rabbi, and she's joining us from Croatia. Juliana is a career coach for remote work. She helps experienced professionals land their dream remote job. Juliana has been working remotely for the past 8 years, now helps professionals to create a career and a lifestyle that makes them happier. So Juliana, how can our audience land a remote job faster?
Hi, Tom. Yes, I am a career coach. I'm also a digital nomad, so I travel and I work from pretty much wherever I want, and I help clients from all over the world to not only make better career choices, but be happy with what they do. I believe that it's extremely important, that being happy and really, enjoy your career, your profession, and have a purpose for that. So based on my experience, the first step when you are considering landing a remote job is to get more clarity about your professional goals and also the lifestyle you want to have. For me, landing a remote job is much more than just landing a new job, because it is also the opportunity to make better choices, to do something that you like, to achieve your goals, to live where you want to live, to use the hours of the day in a smarter way, and also to grow professionally and as a person. So I don't treat it as just your next job. And that's why clarity comes first, because we cover where you are at the moment in your life, in your career, what you want to achieve. So which are your goals, which are the options available for you to get there. And then you start making decisions about what you're willing to commit to get there. This is always the first thing I work with my clients, the clarity part, because that's extremely important. And also to decide which kind of remote job that you want to have, because it's not something that it's not the same thing if you land a remote job that, for example, you still need to work from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, in one specific city or state or time zone. And comparing to landing a remote job that all the communication is asynchronized. People are working from different countries, different time zones. You send an email, you're not expecting anyone to reply to you within the next 5 minutes, and people don't need to be online at the same time. So two very different experiences, but they are all remote jobs. That's right. True. So it's important to understand the options and to see what aligns more with the lifestyle and the kind of job you want to get.
Well, what you just mentioned really, I just said there are just two major opportunities of having a remote job, a person working for a company somewhere out there in the world.
Yeah.
The other option is a person working for several companies that may be in many different places. And maybe as you do, you are a company, you are a person, but you are a company.
Yes.
So you offer your services 24/7 anywhere. Those are two aspects that I agree with you. Many people don't understand that when they're looking to remotely. Many people, they're on the one-to-one. I want to work for one company in one place that has one time zone or maybe two. And I want to be in my kitchen or my living room or my garage, and that's what I want to do. But it's more involving than that.
Yeah, there are different possibilities. So again, it should be aligned with what you want for your life, for your career, and then you start making decisions accordingly to that. So what I suggest is that the second stage after you got more clarity is to start sharing the right method with the world. And one of the ways to do that is by optimizing your LinkedIn profile, your resume, and your cover letter. So these are tools that are still used to land a job. So you want to make sure that whatever you are sharing there is correct, is updated with the clarity that you just got.
That's important, because you could be working on two different messages. You may have your clarity, but you may not be saying it in the correct way.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's very common. Like, I didn't update my resume for 10 years. Well, my LinkedIn, oh my goodness, and I don't even remember what I wrote there. It has been such a long time. So no, those things should be aligned because of the visibility that you get, especially for remote companies, right? People are in different parts of the world. So now that we are having this podcast recording, people can be checking my LinkedIn profile or your LinkedIn profile. So you
Right.
cannot control
Right.
that. So it's like a open showcase 24/7. So we just want to make sure the right message is out there so people will find you for the right purpose.
Well, this
also.
is an example. We are an example. We found each other on a platform that matches guests and podcast hosts. And when we
Yes.
first messaged each other, you were traveling, you were in different places. And I tried to figure out,
Yes.
where are you? And you said, well, I'm a nomadic person, which, okay, I can understand that. I just need to know where on a specific day to line up a time in a time zone. And
Yes.
that's my requirement. So I want to talk to Juliana. I need to know where you are. This morning we're starting at 7 a.m. in Brazil. So I just need to know where you are. And so we can line up and agree on a time. And that's the way the world works today. And many
I
people,
find it so
they
amazing,
still think that they live in
right?
one place, right?
Yes, yeah. There is much more out there. So this flexibility, understanding that things will happen outside of the 9 to 5
Right.
hours. So be ready for that. Share the right message out there in the right way. And then, Tom, that's where people get things wrong, because I've seen that mistake happening a lot of times. So once they got clarity, once they updated a resume, LinkedIn profile, and Covalent, some of them, they assume that all they need to do is just apply for jobs, because that's what they probably did before, right? So there is even a funny expression that I like. It's the spray and pray your
Spray and
resume.
pray. Right.
Yeah, spray and pray. So you apply as much as possible to, 10, 15 jobs per day, and then you just wait and you pray that the companies will contact you. But let me tell you, we are in 2022. This is not effective anymore. So if someone wants to land a remote job, this is not the way to go. This
Well,
is
that's the opening
old
question.
style.
How do you do it faster? And faster is not spray and pray.
Exactly. Faster is taking care of all the things that years ago we didn't thought, or most of us didn't think that it was connected to landing jobs. So, for example, being creative and finding ways to stand out from others in a positive way. Obviously, you don't want to stand out because a terrible resume or because the job interview really messed it up. So stand out in the right way and be ready to go some steps beyond than just applying for jobs. For an example, networking is a great way to be seen and to be remembered. So we can, I have a client who made a comment on a LinkedIn post. This is a real story. She told me yesterday. She made a comment on a LinkedIn post like a year ago. And then 1 year later, she was still in contact with that person. That person said, how are you doing your career? She said, I'm looking for a remote job. I know a company who is struggling to find people. I don't know which positions they have, but let me connect you with them. So she ended up having an interview with the hiring manager directly. So she skipped all the HR application, all the traditional steps. She spoke for 1 hour with the hiring manager. And you know what he said? He's like, I don't know if we have a position for you right now, but I like you so much. Let me see what I can do. So long story short, they created, that's real story. They created the position for her because they really liked her profile. So she started on the 1st of July.
Really, the positions of the future, the ideal positions of modern future don't exist yet, because there aren't people able to take and fill out those positions. And to the nomadic lifestyle that you have, the more you travel, and I'm talking about you, Juliana, but anybody, the more we travel, the more cultures we understand, the more types of people and business environments we learn about. So actually, what you're not carrying a suitcase full of clothes. You're carrying an empty suitcase and filling it with information. You're filling it
and experiences.
with experiences, and that's priceless. And that's the aspect that many people don't value. It's becoming more valuable because we need, and companies, they tell me that we need people who understand multicultural environments.
Yes.
And today it's all multicultural. We're talking about 8 billion people. We're talking about hundreds of countries, and we have different cultures within each country. So we need somebody with that flexibility. And you gain that like you do. You just get up and go somewhere else. And you're still working. And so you're still understanding the job environment. So that's great. That's innovation in action.
Yeah. And talking about understanding the environment, it's also extremely important to understand the reality of the job market, because a lot of people might assume that, well, to land a remote job, I need a certain certification or I must have experience in this or that. And sometimes it's all in your mind. So what I tell my clients is stop assuming and go checking. So create a list of your dream companies, the remote companies you want to work for. So be specific. Pick up real companies. Then you start checking carefully the job descriptions of the positions available. So you understand patterns, you understand the requirements, you understand what the companies you want to work for, they value more. So you really check the reality, and then you look back to your situation and you evaluate, do I really need to get that certification?
Lot to go, lot to do. Well, Juliana, how can our audience find you? I don't want to say where can they find you. How can they find you?
Where is going to be more challenging because I'm traveling the world while I work. But online, definitely, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I have my website. So if they search for Juliana Rabbi, RABBI, they're going to find me. I also have a YouTube channel with more than 80 videos with everything related to career, remote jobs, job interviews, LinkedIn, job change, and all of that. So it's also a nice way to learn from me for free with a lot of value added.
Free is good. So thank you, Juliana. I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your information with our audience.
Thanks, Tom.
And remember, again, as she said, you can find more information about Juliana Rabbi, and that's Juliana. The last name is Rabbi on LinkedIn. She also has a site, which is julianarabbi.com, JulianaRabbi.com. Café Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information on their website, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.